Hi, this is Trey Passer, and I'm here to do another review. I'm going to start off with a bit of a poem, okay, an old gypsy tale. Um, Even a man who's pure at heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolf flame booms and the autumn moon is full and bright. Okay, you've probably heard that before somewhere along the way. It's an old classic line from an old classic horror movie, uh, The Wolfman, the 1941 classic starring Lon Chaney Jr. Okay, and there was another, actually a remake done in 2010, I believe, uh, starring Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins. Okay, so those will be the two movies I'll be reviewing. Let me put my pipe down for a minute. There. Okay, the 1941 classic, The Wolfman with Lon Chaney. Okay, and then the 2010, I believe, version with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins. Okay, let's start with this movie first. I've talked about this movie before in the past. This movie, to me, is just an absolute classic. Basically, the story starts out with Lon Chaney Jr. He has to, he's estranged from his father. His family lives in England. He's estranged from them, and upon the death of his brother, he comes back home to reunite with his father, okay, and to make up for for not being there when his brother died. And during the course of this, coming home, he meets a lovely young lady who's actually engaged at the time, and they become friends, and he's hoping a little bit more. And then one night when he's out with her and her friend gets attacked by what seems to be a wolf, but in actuality it's a werewolf, a man who changes when the full moon rises and becomes a wolf. And since Larry Talbot, played by Lon Chaney Jr. in this movie, killed the wolf, now he's destined to change into a wolf. At first he's disbelieving of it. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. But he goes to the gypsy camp, and the gypsy woman Maliva explains to him that her son Bella was a werewolf, and that Lon Chaney killed him. Okay, and now that he bit him and survives, now he carries the curse, and he's going to change when the full moon rises. And of course, he's like I say, he's not believing it, but then all the people are panicking at the carnival, saying that there's a beast, a werewolf in camp. So he runs back to his home, and sure enough, during that first full moon, he changes. Now, what makes this movie so great to me in this movie is basically Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in this movie. He starts off, coming home sympathetic and everything else, and then, you see him romancing this young lady, and then all of a sudden he just, after this horrific thing that happens, circumstances happens when he kills this supposed wolf, and then the next thing you know, he's changing into a beast, and he can't believe it. He's trying to find some sense of it, and his desperation. These murders are happening, and he's totally desperate to get somebody to believe him. And what's great, like I said, Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in this movie makes this a classic, because he goes through so many range of emotions in this movie that it's just absolutely fantastic. And the supporting cast in this movie is absolutely top notch. Claude Rains is his father. You have I'm trying to think. What's her name? Claude. I'm trying to. Excuse me. I'm drawing a blank on the names on the other people. I'm sorry. You have Claude Rains' father. You have Bela Lugosi as Bella, the wolf that bites Larry Talbot. You have Miss Evelyn Akers as the woman that Lon Chaney pursues in this movie, and just a great supporting cast. And Maria Ospanga, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's a famous actress, and she plays the gypsy that tries to tries to help Larry, realize his fate. And what's great about this movie, like I said, just his performance and the whole atmosphere and that first appearance of the Wolfman will just knock you off your socks. It's just fantastic. It's just, you know, absolutely stunning. The first transformation when you see him walking through the woods, and then you see that slow camera shot that pans up, and then you slowly see the Wolfman by the tree, and that it's you know, starts from the bottom and rises up, and it looks absolutely stunning. And the makeup by Jack Pierce is just absolutely fantastic. So this movie to me is just a horror classic and can't be beat. Okay, now the other movie that I have is the 2010 version, which is supposed to, you know, be a remake of this one, but they actually changed things around in this movie. It's not a straight remake. The circumstances are basically the same in that Lawrence Talbot's brother dies, actually gets murdered, and he comes back. He's an actor in this movie, and he comes back. He comes home to find out what happened to his brother, and of course he meets his father and his brother's fiancée, played by Emily Blunt in this movie. And this movie really disappointed me. I was so looking forward to this movie when the trailer came out. When the trailers came out, I thought it was going to be interesting, and the creature effect is okay into it, but I don't want to spoil too much of this. But the pacing of this movie is absolutely horrendous. Okay, it just leaps from one thing to another. I think they absolutely butchered the editing process in this, and I heard there was a bunch of reshoots on this movie. It ran over budget. They fired the initial director and got another director. But the pacing is absolutely horrible in this movie. There's a whole sequence when he changes. Yeah, there's a part. This is not a spoiler because people. Well, this is a spoiler. People have seen it. Haven't seen it. Where he changes, and he's running through London, the Wolfman, and they cut a whole sequence, a sequence that I saw on like the making of the Wolfman on HBO. They cut out an entire sequence, which, you know, kind of dilutes the power of that impact. And also, the climax of this movie is absolutely laughable to me. Okay, like in the original 1941 Wolfman, it's just a Wolfman, and of course he has this confrontation at the end with his father. And in this movie, he does have a confrontation with his father, but without spoiling it, it's just horrendous. Okay, let me put it that way. Especially with the caliber of actors in this movie, you think it would have been better, but just I just can't recommend it. I mean, I bought the Steelbook because I like Steelbooks, and the movie is somewhat good. I like the creature effect in it, you know, but the actual story and the pacing of this is absolutely horrendous, and it's just so disappointed in this, and I don't know what more to say. It's just like I said, this one's a classic, definitely worth getting. I highly recommend getting this. This is the Legacy edition, okay? But this one, the Blu-ray of the 2010 version of the Wolfman, I can't recommend it. It's just not that good, and I can't understand how.